Hello, folks. I'm Joe Wesley. Thank you for visiting us. Those who are seeing us for the first time, for those who are coming back, even thank you more for having enough value we can provide for you to want to come back to us. For those who are familiar with us, we do start a little bit early sometimes. We try to give you some background information, so I'm the early bird for the moment, give you a sense of what we're about, to remind you that you can see us through Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You have to be signed in if you want to leave comment. And we do encourage that. Your questions, your input, your thoughts, shares. Remember to subscribe to keep on top of us. We are every Thursday, barring holidays, at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with a 15-minute session. Checking my watch to make sure we're on time on this. So basically what we're about is the sense that I'm a left brain kind of guy. I'm very proud about that. I function well with it. Pure logic and reasoning. Like if you watch Star Trek, Dr. Spock syndrome. And Lizzy, who works with me, she'll be coming on shortly, is more the right brain wellness coach persona, and very talented, very respected in her industry, besides having also a certified yoga um, uh, certification, one of the hardest ones to get, I understand. And that's important because she's a woman who's committed to doing the best that needs to be done, can be done for the good of her clients. And she talks about wellness, really not my cup of tea or my lifestyle, but people respect her for that. So she must make some sense. Hello, Lizzy. How are you doing?
I'm well. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Joe.
Okay, now that she's online, she's a phenomenal person, great human being. I am so happy to have her in my life as part of this program.
I feel the same way about you, Joe.
Fair enough. So I was summarizing thanking people for being online with us, that sometimes we do start early to give people some background information, rules of the road. This is a new year. And for those that haven't caught on to it yet, some of us perhaps have not, both Lizzy and I, where we do agree, is that milestones are assisted by calendar events: Mother's Day, Father's Day, New Year's, celebrations that's recognized in many aspects worldwide at times. So let's use those moments for ourselves in terms of growth, for you in terms of growth also. So what Lizzy and I have been debating this time around is we've been at this for over a year. We had our anniversary the month of December. We're extending that. We didn't do just the one day. We're doing a time concept, and we're looking to our new future. And what kicked this off last month was overthinking, underthinking. She was talking about people overthink. I'm saying maybe people simply underthink. Is that good or bad? And from that, we talked about expectations. Is that good or bad? Now we're talking about resolutions. So what we're doing now is a micro series of topics per month. And we would really appreciate you guys giving us some feedback. What would you like to hear about? As opposed to one subject, one 15-minute, another subject, another 15-minute. So we're going from overthinking, underthinking, expectations. Now we're into the resolution cycle, and we'll finish out January in that manner. And so the theme for today, and the next one will be wants versus needs, in terms for those that want to be in on the scoop side of what's going to be the next discussion. So the question we have here is, I went to a meeting the other day in which the general theme for any network meeting now is, what's your resolution for the year coming that we're now in or coming up? Well, my resolution short term was to get back the belt notch that I lost over the holidays. I don't know how that happened. My wife did not wash my belt in hot water, so I'm sure that's not the problem or the cause of it, but I'm going to get that notch back as best I can. That being said, the issue is, in another group setting I was a part of, when you talk about strategic planning, you set goals that are manageable, that are achievable, so you don't disappoint yourself. You keep them realistic. I understand the logic of that, but my counterpoint was, geez, assuming you do that extremely well, you miss out on the chance to say, I didn't know I could do that. that never occurred to me. If we under set our standard. So I guess Lizzy made a very nice response. I'm really intrigued to hear what she's got to say on this subject.
You know
Onion?
what, Joe? You cut out for. I didn't hear your last sentence. You
Oh,
were frozen. I'm not. I want to
funny.
make sure you
I'm
respond to
okay.
what you said.
Fair enough. I'm sorry for that. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. I was saying that I went to a networking meeting the other night, and the topic was resolutions.
Mm-hmm.
And the argument or the position is you make your stepping stones achievable so you can move from one spot to the next in terms of what you want to accomplish and manageable. I says, I don't have an argument with that. But if you set that level in a consistent manner, you may cheat yourself on the opportunity to say, I didn't know I could have accomplished that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you kept everything within reach. And
Okay.
so
Yes.
I'm a stretcher. So am I overthinking, underthinking? It all ties together very nicely.
Yeah. No. I think that that any kind of goal. I don't like the idea of New Year's resolutions, which is what I referred to in our chat. That I think it's resolution to me feels like there's something broken and we have to resolve it. And I don't think any of us are broken. So I think I like the idea of dreaming and again growing, because we are here to grow. But I do believe that a dream or a goal, whatever you want to call it, but not a resolution, should stretch you and should be put you in your growth zone, which can be a little uncomfortable. So like what you're saying, it shouldn't be pie in the sky. It shouldn't be like tomorrow. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and your belt loop is going to be 2 sizes smaller. It's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So have it be believable and achieve, but still a stretch, still putting you in the position of, just growing and seeing what you're made of and seeing if you can, keep to what you said you're going to do. And within that, have people around you to help support you. None of us are here to do this thing alone. So enlist other people to help you if you need it. Most 90-something% of us are not completely self, we'll do the thing we said for ourselves. We'll do everything for everyone else first before we'll stay true to what we say we're going to do for ourselves. It's just part of being our brain and being human. Yeah. So the idea is to learn to human better. That's what I tell people.
I hear that. But and again, part of the difference, the core difference between myself and Lizzy, she'll say, all you have to do is, and to me, again, it's like turning a light switch on. So I'm going to dig into her for maybe a pearl or micro step one can take to move in that direction. But my concept is that I'm intrigued by you don't like resolutions, and I can understand you set yourself up for disappointment. But my challenge, are you cheating yourself? If you don't, how do you strive for the unknown if you don't go a little bit beyond reality? Mm-hmm. On the other hand, if you go too far from the deep end, then you're forever disappointed. So to me, it's still a sliding scale. Mm-hmm. And when you make a comment about make the decision to make it realistic, but yet achievable, yet it's something different, I'm lost in that maze. And I never knew, rephrase that, say this differently. I knew as a kid that at some point I had my tricycle and it was good. I was bad until I got big enough to realize that there are people bigger than me riding along on 2-wheelers and not a 3-wheeler. Mm-hmm. So I want that big kid bike. So I want the 2-wheeler, but they had training wheels on them. I don't know of anybody that rode a bike without training wheels. I'm sure it happened. It was a big thing then. Maybe nobody rides bikes anymore. They sit in front of the computer. This may be archaic. Imagine yourself sitting on.
I was around during training wheels.
Fair enough. Well, the kids nowadays, I don't know if this may be biased, but physical activity, other than pushing a keyboard perhaps. But that being said, that realistically, I didn't know how to balance. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how to balance. So there was nothing realistic or not in my head. But I did know I had to have training wheels because the first time I tried it, I flopped down in a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. Now, one could argue, Joe, this isn't going to work. Why do you keep bothering? I'm going to do a fast forward. Put the training wheels on. I'm good at this. Take the wheels off. flop down again because I didn't have the burden of having to balance.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got to the point, and my good thank you for my cousins for bearing with me, but they grew up too as young guys and girls, so they knew how that worked. That they kept staying with me. Are you sure this time, Joe, you can make it? Oh, yeah, I'm sure. And flop again. So what they had to do was at some point, I'm going to push it. I've done the same thing myself for younger kids. I'm going to keep pushing you to balance you, and you just keep pedaling. And that's what I began doing. And at some point, I realized they were half a block behind me.
Mm-hmm.
So my point is, if I said to myself, I'm never going to get this done, it's too difficult, I don't know the skill subset, which I didn't know realistically, it would have happened. So they helped me go beyond my belief in myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the point I'm making. That
Well, I think. Mm-hmm.
you may set yourself for a flop.
Mm-hmm. And that's okay. That's part of the process, is flopping and falling and getting back up, and flopping and, and getting back up. But, I think what happens is, as a kid, we don't have, a young kid, maybe it changes, I don't know, pretty young these days, like
Right.
7 or 8, where we start to get self-conscious about the falling down. And a lot of times that stops us, and we stop dreaming and we stop striving. And so, but we didn't always suck at dreaming. We didn't always suck at believing in ourselves, because we did. We walked, we got up, we fell down, we got up, we fell down. We didn't give up. You rode the bike, you fell, and then all of a sudden, then you achieved it. And I think also you saw other people on 2 wheels riding their bike. So you saw that it can be done. Most things you've seen, there has been a roadmap before, it's been done before. And so, most things, if you're not like totally breaking something like the 4-minute mile, which is one example of something that was never done. And then all of a sudden it was done by all kinds of people, even like high school students, and it was said that it was impossible. So, but in those cases, they believed it, and then they saw it. So I believe you have to believe it to see it, but I think that a lot of us, as we get older, we stop dreaming, like I said, and we decide that we'll want what we can get, rather than go after getting what we really, really want in life. And that's where I think, it's important to take a look at yourself, and what is it what are your desires? What is it that you want to accomplish? And don't get stuck in autopilot and resignation, and doing the same thing year after year after year, and maybe saying, this is the year I'm going to get healthy, but not like putting the steps into place, the small manageable steps each day that will get you there. If it's too vague, it's like, how are you going to? There is no roadmap.
Yeah, I hear that, and admittedly, this is the only time I admit this in public. I'm confused. Having said that, you hear stories like the author who was rejected 40 times on submitting a book.
Yeah,
I guess not an author until it actually got published, when I think about it. But yet, eventually, To Kill a Mockingbird got published, despite being rejected more than 40 times. So you could say, in hindsight, that person was determined. Kids, when they do something, when a mishap happens, I did it as a kid, and I watched children do it. They fall down, they trip, whatever. They look around saying, "Is that okay or not okay?" And if it's this might sound misogynist. If it's a girl, they'll pick you up and hug you, and at some point, because the parents are giving, the kid cries. The boys usually, get up and do it again. That may have shifted somewhat, I guess. I'm hoping. But that being said, so we learn to recognize failure or success through the eyes of other people. And I guess realistically, that's the case. But how many times do you keep pounding at something? When do you know when to stop?
Right.
When do you when do you stop challenging yourself and begin to cheat yourself? When does hope escape from you?
That's a good question. I mean, because I know so many cases like the one you referred to. I mean, my mentor, 144 publishers rejected Chicken Soup for the Soul book, and it went on to, like multi-billion dollars. And if they just had a belief in this, so it depends. If your belief is stronger than, then you are able to reject the rejections, stay with it. But if it becomes where you lose belief in it, then I think it's time to maybe change courses.
That's a good point. If it's slowing
and
you
try something
down,
else.
right? If it's well, certainly, I would say if it's slowing you down, it's a matter of debate again. Certainly, if
Mm-hmm.
it happens, you can say, "I am so glad I hung in there with that."
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the art form, when I think about this, I'm going to ask you another question.
Mm-hmm.
Is again, you talk about mindfulness, and if I understand that correctly, it's about awareness factor. It's about not being victimized by always reacting, but becoming more proactive through your awareness. So, for this issue of when does the challenge become the uh, the cheat of sorts to yourself, how does one make a
Yeah,
distinction?
I like to tell my client, like, let fun and joy be your, be the decision maker. If you're not having fun anymore,
Okay.
it's not bringing you, if that going after it is making you, not feel good anymore, and
Mm-hmm.
then I would say, it's okay to change courses. But if you're still having fun and you're still committed and you still want to, it still lights you up and you wake up energized about that dream or goal, keep doing it. You know. Um,
Well, see, I like that, but that's how I lost my belt notch because I enjoy the eating. So I get totally what you're saying.
Uh-huh. Well, you had fun doing it, and yep, and hopefully now you're gonna have fun challenging yourself to
See, there's that
if
hopefully
it
thing
matters enough
again.
to you, if it matters. So it's like it depends. Do you want to put that cookie down or not? Or you're the whiskey or the Wi-Fi or whatever it is that you think that is maybe getting in the way of your life being, as good as it can be. So
Mm-hmm.
um, and again, I think that anytime you want to have a dream, if you look back in your past, there are things just like you learning to ride a bike, kids learning to walk, where you have succeeded. You saw what you needed to do. You took the necessary actions in order to achieve that. So we have all been able to achieve things, successes. So I invite people to think about those successes, that they've had over the past year, over their lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
and then get into the process of creating dreams for the new year.
Okay, that makes sense. And
Mhm.
actually, folks, this is one of the few times we're going to finish on time.
Yeah.
Usually we run 1 or 2 minutes over. I guess we're
Mhm.
getting good at this after a year of effort. We have a lot of new things coming up for this year, 2022. We're doing this for you guys. We enjoy doing it. We'll enjoy it even more with your input, your presence, and your participation. So we do encourage you to do that. I'm going to say goodbye for the day.
Yeah. Goodbye, everybody. Happy and healthy.
Okay, take care.